When we look at bottlenecks, identified 7 reasons why a business may be slowing down, may be not fulfilling its full potential and not allowing the full flow to progress and follow through. So like always, we mentioned to people, we've got these on show notes if you want to refer to them. So if you want to just sit back, relax, enjoy the in-flight service, so to speak, as they say on airplanes, do so knowing that you've got some notes in the background. But so of those 7 points, Adam, the first bottleneck that shows up for a lot of people is inefficient time management. And this is rife in entrepreneurial space where there are so many competing priorities. There's so many things that you've got to do that you don't allocate things accordingly the way that you should. So you start doing a lot in one direction and then suddenly you've got to reckon and go, oh, I've allocated too much time here. I've got to do this back and forth. Have you ever had that example show up in your world?
Yeah. And that's the thing with wearing the multiple hats that we talk about. You've got so many jobs to do in one day. You can't sit down every single time and then go, yep, this is the perfect amount of time. And then that's the perfect amount for this task. And this is for this task. And then all of a sudden you get an email or a phone call that takes you off those tasks and go to a different task. And then all of a sudden your time management just got thrown out because someone chewed up 10 minutes or 5 minutes, or your mind slipped and you went into a different state, or you wanted to hit social media, or there's so many other variables that affect the time management that it just slows down everything, which I've seen way too many times, and I've felt it as well.
Yeah, and that's one that will definitely slow up or bottleneck your business or the growth because you're not prioritizing and allocating time appropriately to what needs to be done. First, I guess, identifying the most important things and then allocating the most important time to do those. So as a solution to help inefficient time management, a really good thing to remember is, plan your work your plan. And the important thing about that is allocate specific tasks and roles. You would have heard us say many times throughout this podcast, what gets scheduled gets done. And having particular blocks of time that happens in is really, really helpful. And I guess the second part of that would be to apply the 80-20 rule, or the identifying the 20% of the actions that give you 80% of the results. So if you are going to be limited by time, this ensures that you get the most out of the things that give you the best metrics and best results. So that's something to consider in mind.
Yeah, I've been reading the 4-hour work week.
Yeah.
And also when I'm on my walks or runs, I'm listening to David Goggins' book. What was it? You Can't Hurt Me?
Yeah.
And both of them talk about this principle, and there's a point of no return, I believe Goggins said, or like there's a backstop.
Yep.
And basically what that means is this is a task I've got to do, but let's just use time as the analogy. So I've got to do a task from 9 o'clock in the morning and finish by 10:30. And all right, I might be able to go 10 minutes over, but that's the furthest part. And you've got to know that at 10:30, wind up, go over to your next task. And I thought that was great, but he was scheduling, as you said, everything that gets scheduled gets done.
Yeah.
But one of the main things is he goes, I don't have any social media. I post on Instagram twice a week. I don't follow anyone. I don't look at it. I just post to give motivation to others. And what he is doing there is eliminating distractions so that he can keep to that schedule. And that way he has become the most efficient time manager that he could possibly become. And I can see that I've adopted that more and more this week as I've been doing my runs and my routines, because I've got more reflection on that point.
Yeah, that's a good distinction and a good point too. So remember, bottleneck, I should say, number 1 is inefficient time management.